All right, I'm gonna give you some bonus tips. Now this, I'm taking the gloves off. I'm basically gonna be pretty candid. I'm gonna give you some really good pointers here, but don't be your own worst enemy. Don't give them red flags. I cannot stress this enough. Now for this, I'm gonna basically, trying this out. This is a shout out to David Letterman. I used to watch David Letterman growing up. This was probably back, David Letterman he was a late night talk show host, because you're wondering, who's that guy? Back in the 90s, 80s? I don't know. Anyway, a while ago. Anyway, so he had this bit where he did top 10, whatever. So I'm gonna give you top 6. It's not top 10 because I didn't have 10 red flags. There's only 6. So here we go. Got it right here. Top 6 red flags that you or others might do during an interview. Now before I jump into this, I should tell you about something that I did during an interview. I've had bad interviews before, right? One of the interviews I bombed was with the DEA. So it's a Drug Enforcement Administration. Honestly, I wasn't prepared. I walked in, it was a panel interview. It was, I think, the second or third interview. And I just literally came in there flat-footed. It was a bad day for me. I don't know why I wasn't prepared, but I just wasn't. Bombed it. Total epic failure. And it was like, kind of embarrassing. They were like, it was kind of interesting. The panel was just kind of like giving me pointers on like what to do the next time for an interview, because they knew they weren't going to take me on. The beauty of that failure was it helped me learn what not to do when I interviewed the next time for a government job. And the next interview was with the FBI. Every mistake I made, I fixed. I was prepared, I was ready for it, and I killed it in a positive way. That's what it helped me do. So anyway, let's jump into this list. It's right here on this card. They have to keep moving fast so you don't see what's on the card. I don't think David Letterman had anything on this card. Anyway, okay. Number 6, you haven't dressed the part. So what does that mean? It means you have to dress the part. You gotta make sure you represent yourself the best way possible. Now this changes. If you're interviewing for a position on Wall Street, it's high probability you wanna wear a suit and tie. That is not necessarily true with every job. If you're interviewing with a startup and their dress code essentially is flip-flops and t-shirts, that's not gonna bode well you wearing a suit and tie to that interview. So you wanna make sure you know your audience. Number 5, you didn't lock down your social media. What does that mean? Well, it means Instagram, those posts you had that are very inappropriate and not something that employer thinks represents their brand, probably want to put that on private. Clean up your social media. Number 4, you speak negatively about your previous employers. Don't get me wrong, we've all been there, we've had these bad experiences, but during the interview, it's not the time to confess. That's not the time you open up about that stuff. You save that for after you get the job and you're with drinks with the group and you're all talking about past experiences. That's when you share, or with your therapist, or online in anonymous posts. Whatever, you share it elsewhere, not during the interview. Number 3, you're late. Whether it's a remote meeting or a meeting in person, it doesn't matter. Being late is a deal killer. It's a clear red flag, you want to avoid it. Number 2, you didn't show good etiquette and body language. So let's look at a side-by-side comparison of these two pictures. If you look at the woman on the left, clearly she doesn't necessarily look as confident as the woman on the right. The woman on the right just looks more confident, more sure of herself, more bold. If you had to pick which one of these people you'd want to hire, it's pretty easy just by looking at their body language. That's quite powerful. Whether it's in person or remote, you want to make sure that body language is in play. And number 1, you lack confidence. Look, here's the reality. When it comes down to these interviews, perception is reality. If I perceive you're not confident and you can't do this job, because that's the impression you're giving me, that's my reality. It might be completely false. When that interview ends, you want me to believe that you are the right person for the job. You want me to second guess it. So don't second guess yourself. There it is, top 6 list. I think David Letterman throws a card. I honestly don't know. Someone does. Let's pretend it's David Letterman. The second thing you want to be mindful of, don't let technology do you in. So that means stay off your phone during an interview. Instagram can wait. That tweet you want to send, you know what? It can wait till you're done with the interview. In addition, if it's a remote interview, make sure you've downloaded any type of extension you're going to need. Are you able to launch Zoom, WebEx, whatever platform they're using? Make sure you have it all. And a good rule of thumb is to get there about a minute or 2 early before any of those remote interviews. In addition, you want to actually watch this video I did about best Zoom practices, because those are going to apply to you whether you're running a team remotely or you're doing an interview remotely. All right, final thing, follow up. Ask for feedback if you didn't get selected. Okay, this is a 2-parter. Follow up just means follow up. follow up with each person in the interview process. A simple email will suffice. And it's just a simple email that says, hey, thank you for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it. In addition, if they ask you for something, you definitely want to follow up, but you want to follow up within 24 hours. If you unfortunately don't get the job, and at that moment, I know you're not thinking, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to email this company back. But you want to email the company back. When you send an email, does a few things. The first, it establishes that you care enough to try to improve yourself. That's one of the big benefits to you. If the company is willing to share what you didn't do or what they're looking for and maybe didn't align with what your skill set is, that helps you prepare for the next job. But the second thing it does, it leaves a favorable impression in that employer's mind. Because now they said, oh, that's awesome, this person's trying to improve themselves. You have to ask in a nice way, and it's real simple. It's simply something to the effect of, hey, I really appreciate you took the time to interview me. Is there anything you can share with me that can help me improve the next time? That's it, super simple. But it's just a way to sort of connect with them and see if they'll share. As a hiring manager, I'm not looking for the best applicant, I'm looking for the best applicant for that job. There's a big difference there. There's a person I interviewed, she was really good, but she was too ambitious for the job we needed her to do. I knew by interviewing her that she wouldn't be happy in this role. And be candid with you, she probably has her own company now. It wasn't the right fit for either party. She didn't realize at the time it wasn't the right fit. Now, I knew that because I knew what the team needed. This is something that you should remind yourself. Just because you didn't get selected doesn't mean that you weren't the best person. It might mean you weren't the right person for the job, or there's something you can work on. And again, hopefully this helps indicate what that might be. Man, I don't know how you want to edit this, but here we go. Bam. Here, bam is not something David Letterman says. All right, here's, he also has a band here. So I don't know a band, but whatever. All right, I got him right here. Don't look at the card, there's nothing on this card. Coming up, Matthew McConaughey after the break. Play music, Matt, as I'm dancing.